So I wanted to use this video to show you how to maximize the screen sharing function in the Zoom. So essentially, right now you're seeing is I'm in a Zoom meeting, like with just myself. So if you wanted to start screen sharing, you usually have different options, so you can use whiteboard, blah, blah, blah. The best way to allow you to actually show multiple tabs is when you use the desktop. So you will share the desktop, that's usually the first option. The disadvantage of using desktop was sometimes when you're sharing, you may not want other people, people to see other things. So later I'm gonna show you how to avoid, how to protect a little bit privacy. And also when you use the desktop sharing, they tend to create a larger video recording, which is fine in our case. So let's just say I want to start sharing. I'm moving the things on the side. So you will still see the items right on top. So here's my desktop essentially. So let's say I wanted to open up 4491. So when you open things up, it usually, kind of like this is a preview. It doesn't really help that much if you use a preview version. So ideally, you wanted to do is actually download it. Okay, so downloading a copy will be very helpful because that really allows you to actually, move to different tabs really quickly. But if you're really in preview mode, it's usually much harder to find where you want. Okay, so let's say I wanted to open up the tab. So I want 4491. That's usually what we want, right? And then at the same time, I also want 4012. Okay, so I want both. So I downloaded both in my computer and open up both. So they both open together, but I don't really want because I want to show them side by side. So you're gonna just drag them. Okay, so now you have two PDF. One is 4012, the other is 4491. Okay, so now you're gonna go to the corner. So I'm on a MacBook, but if you're using Windows, it's usually very similar. It's just gonna be the other side. Just go to the corner where it allows you to select. Do you want to show side by side, or do you want to do it, just full screen? So in this case, I'm selecting the window to left screen. So I want 4012 to be on my left. And then it's asking what I want in my right. So I'm doing 4491 in my right. So now I have both together, side by side. So in general, when you're doing it this way, the only problem was, you have the bookmarks, the bookmark tab. It's good. It allows you to select. For instance, if I wanted to go to income, I can just click the income. It will take me to income directly. But again, the letter size is going to be very tiny, so it's going to be very tricky for people to actually see what's going on. So what you need to do is once you selected the bookmark, it takes you to the right place. You just close this, close the bookmark, close the bookmark. Now you can see they're bigger. Okay, so now you see a bigger kind of letter size. It really helps you to kind of show student what's going on, and you can really scroll on either side. Okay. And then the other thing you can do in Zoom when you have those ready, you can also annotate. Okay, so if you click the annotate, then let's say I wanted to highlight. Okay, so what you need to do is you can just say I like, for instance, if I do highlight, so I can just say, oh, never mind, not so sure what's going on, but okay. So yeah, so you can just highlight it, and then it makes it a bit easier for you to actually show student. And then once you don't want the highlight, you can just say I want to clear all the drawings. That's fine. Yeah, I'm just not so sure why it's going back and forth. Probably because I'm using the highlight function. Okay. So the other thing you can do to highlight to avoid like what just happened was you can just kind of say I'm selecting this, letting student know this is very important. I'm just using the built-in highlight for my Adobe. Okay, so I'm just saying I want this, right? So that way, student can know, they can follow along. They know this is why, you are selecting the answer you selected, and then also make sure they remember what's going on. Okay, so that's how you show two PDF side by side, right? So what if you don't want, okay, so let's say I wanted to get out of my screen share, my full picture. So what I can do is when I'm, just stopping it. Okay, so remember one thing, so now I'm not really showing side by side, they're just individual. This is what you actually see on the screen. Okay, all right, so what you need is, let's say I'm trying to do some searching on my own, but I don't really want people to see exactly what I'm searching. What you can do is you can press the pause share. So if you press the pause share, and then you can still navigate on your computer, right? I mean, right now it's your desktop. So you might be doing things that you don't want students to see. So just pause share, and then you can grab let's say grab the file, go to the website that you want to. Once you're done, you can just press a resume. Okay, then it will start sharing again. So that's how it works. So you can also do, so I say I don't want to save. You can also do, side by side on the web browser as well. So let's say if I wanted to do web browser, so say I wanted this to go to the left and then the other to go to the right. Okay, so again, so it works as well. Okay, so when you use the side-by-side view, they immediately enlarge the preview to make sure you don't have the black sides, sidebars, you just have the full version of the PDF preview file. Okay, so the website also works as long as you do it. And then the other thing is, it's usually better to encourage students to try to use their participants to respond to your question. The reason being, it's a lot easier for you to monitor. Okay, so if you let the student to actually select yes and no, what you really need is you just click the participants, and then you can actually see the count. Right now, like, I don't really see anything. But if I ask question and the student responded with yes and no, or go slower, go faster, I can see the count right away. Okay, so it's really easy, because notice here, if you wanted to follow the chat, you actually need to go to the more and then open up the chat. Okay, and that's usually kind of keep track of like who's answering what. It's a little bit more complicated. So the participants really, speed up the process. Okay, that's the reason it's really useful. And then at the end of each questions, you can just choose clear all, making sure they start the count from scratch essentially. And yeah, you can also use a lot of other functions. If you do the participants, you can always close and open.